Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel and the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel. This is, of course, Pro Wrestling Logic. This is the Superstars of Wrestling Review Series for the 29th of April, 1995. We've got almost 300 of these. We may actually get to 300 before they stop the series. Maybe they'll do more than 300 on the good old WWE Peacock Network now, but don't really know. All we know for sure is that, in fact, there are nearly 300 of these Superstars episodes going to be up before too long, and ultimately we go forward here. Psycho Sid with Ted DiBiase pinning Aldo Montoya after a powerbomb. Sid returned match after 3 years. Of course, Sid coming in relatively, I don't know if I'd say hot to the promotion, but certainly a guy who, had been away since 1992, right after WrestleMania, and coming back. Also, highlights from Raw is a major force in this deal, and the main idea of the highlights from Raw is the breakaway from the $1 Million Corporation by Bam Bam Bigelow. Bam Bam Bigelow's babyface turn, which doesn't last too terribly long. Aldo Montoya, though, pretty basic guy, manages to get tossed over the top rope after hitting a crossbody a couple times. Sid actually does the press slam back into the ring, hits a choke slam and a powerbomb, and gets a victory. Sid obviously going to remain in a good position for the remainder of this run. He's there through parts of 1995, early 1996, and does very well. Sid and Diesel are going to go at it for the World Championships. The World Championship on May the 14th at the In Your House pay-per-view, first of its kind. Diesel basically saying he's ready to go at Sid. Sid jumping Diesel from behind. I don't know that he was the original plan, but also the In Your House pay-per-view's hype for or from Todd Pettengill, a pretty basic thing, and then we see the British Bulldog and Lex Luger, the Allied Powers, who I did not know teamed after WrestleMania 11. I should have, because it wouldn't make sense for them to just start teaming at the biggest pay-per-view of the year and then stop, but Luger and Davey Boy actually do run through the end of the year with Luger, or the end of Luger's run, rather. Brooklyn Brawler and Black Phantom. Smith pinning Phantom after a running power slam. Luger at this time kind of dead in the water. They tried to push him to the top, didn't work out. He was going to be the next Hulk Hogan for about a year or so, 1993 to summer 93, into WrestleMania 94, that run, but it doesn't come together. Luger hit the knee lift along the way. Brooklyn Brawler still a major force here in 1995. Black Phantom, I believe, is Glenn Ruth, who bumps all over the place for Luger, making him look like $1 million. Super basic maneuvers, hanging suplex from the British Bulldog, and then going into the power slam along the way there. Bulldog, of course, having passed away in 2002, but they still try to get something good out of that. Anyway, while he's still there. Anyhow, so there is a vignette for Hunter Helmsley, who basically says that the world has its nose in the air, or he has his nose in the air as it relates to the world, because he's an aristocrat and everyone else just basically sucks. Hakushi with Shinja pins Kwang with a senton at 5:38. Kwang's last TV appearance. He switches very quickly to the role of Savio Vega in time for the June King of the Ring. So that is much more in alignment with what he's attempting to do. Hakushi, though, not a terribly together experience for Jinjay Shinzaki, as he's only there for about a year. They brought him in originally to feud with The Undertaker. If you believe the sheet writers, that obviously doesn't go well because of Hakushi's size. Hakushi does hit a elevated splash, among other things. Shinja tries to interfere, martial arts maneuvers by Hakushi. Hakushi has wrestled, and I did actually see him wrestle a match without the body art tattoos during this run, so they must have been a pain in the butt to put on a nightly basis. Big chops and a splash in the corner by Hakushi. Hakushi also with the outside moonsault to the outside, among other things, getting a modified camel clutch, trying to get a submission, and Hakushi, in complete control, hits the tip-up splash and a decent enough match if you like high flying. And remember, 1995, this is a pretty big deal. Jimmy Del Rey getting ready to face Bret Hart in the latter part of the program. Hart, of course, getting ready to go into it with Jerry the King Lawler, another part of their feud. Gary Scott and Jean-Pierre Lafitte, otherwise known as Quebecer Pierre. The pirate gimmick doesn't last very long. He gets a run with Diesel but has issues with the Click, and Jean-Pierre Lafitte, pretty basic guy here. Punch kick, very basic, and PCO, Pierre Carl Ouellette, is still in his 50s on the, on the run here, and ultimately kind of going after Gary Scott pretty aggressively. Very basic punch kick, doesn't get everything he wants, and then we kind of see him tie his man up in the ropes, splash against him, and hits the cannonball. Oddly enough, doing the red and yellow thing, almost like a Hulk Hogan tights for Gary Scott. Don't know if that was done on purpose or not, but anyway, Jerry the King Lawler basically says he wants to get his hands on Bret Hart once again. Also hyping up future matches for himself. Jerry Lawler, of course, a super important guy in the 95. Of course, he's out of the ring mainly by about 97 or so, going over to commentary. Lawler, of course, still around all these years later. Bret Hart and Jimmy Del Rey up next. Very basic Bret Hart match. Jimmy Del Rey, just another body there. The Heavenly Bodies alongside Jim Cornette, of course, Tom Pritchard and Jimmy Del Rey. Going around, punch kick. Hart cuts Del Rey off. Super basic match. Worth checking out if you like the back and forth. Hart is so believable with everything he does. Takedowns by Jimmy Del Rey. Del Rey does manage to get a couple of elbow drops and even a moonsault off on Bret Hart. Bret Hart does hit the elbow, the Russian leg sweep, and eventually the sharpshooter for the victory. Confrontation between Hart and Lawler. By the end of the program, also Hakushi is the guy that's going to be facing Bret Hart at the pay-per-view. But, they're still going at it pretty well. We'll be back with more right after this.